often forced to migrate. This scenario is still fresh in our memories. The entire rural economy was disturbed, unorganized and uncertain future, and beyond redemption with the collapse of both agriculture and its allied professions. The drinking water problem was severe and unbearable in Telangana society prior to the formation of the state. Health and education sectors were also collapsed. The situation was so bad that the poor had to borrow heavily and sell their belongings to get the deliveries done in the private and corporate hospitals. There were playing cards clubs in every basti, in cities and towns, and number of illicit liquor selling points in every village. Law and order was not under control. There was an onslaught of Telangana literature, culture, traditions and arts. No importance was given to Telangana temples and festivals. Under these trials and tribulations, on 2nd June 2014, the Telangana state started its journey under the foresighted leader who successfully spearheaded the separate statehood movement under the stewardship of Chief Minister Sri K. Chandrasekhar Rao. My government, after taking into consideration its resources, facilities, needs, advantages, disadvantages, strengths and weaknesses, had prepared short-term, mid-term, long-term plans for the overall development of the state, and thus launched state's revitalization and rejuvenation process. Social welfare. In order to provide minimum security of livelihoods to the poor, my government had given top priority to welfare sector with lot of concern on humanitarian considerations. The welfare program are being designed and implemented with utmost humanitarian perspective by the Telangana government to give security to the lives and livelihood of the poor. To bring more number of poor people under the umbrella of below poverty line, the BPL, the maximum income limit has been increased from rupees 60,000 to 1,50,000 in rural areas, and in urban areas it was increased from 75,000 to 2 lakh rupees. Within this, even those working in the government and private companies with lesser salaries are able to derive benefits from the welfare schemes. With the amount of rupees 2016 per month given as Asara pension, the poor are able to live happily without depending on anyone. My government has increased pension for pensioners with disability from rupees 500 to 3,016. Though there are lakhs of BD workers in the country, the pension are given to BD workers at rupees 2016 per month in Telangana state only. Similarly, for the first time in the country, single women, persons suffering with filaria are also given Asara pensions. Let me share a happy news with you all that my government has also decided to reduce the age limit for the old age pension from 65 years to 57 years. Very soon, all the eligible persons who attain the age of 57 years will be given Asara pension in the state. Under Kalyana Lakshmi, Shadi Mubarak schemes, my government is giving 1,116 rupees towards expenses for the eligible girls' marriage. Earlier, though through fair price shops, ration shops, only 4 kgs rice was given per person with a ceiling. Now, 6 kgs of rice per person is given without ceiling on number of persons in the household at the rate of rupees 1 per kg. In the government schools, hostels, students are served meal with fine rice. My government is running 959 residential schools with the highest standards of teaching. This is not being done anywhere in the country so far. KCR Kids schemes is being implemented to encourage safe and institutional deliveries in the government hospitals. My government has abolished transport tax on the tractors used by the farmers and autos run by the youth for self-employment. A special development fund was created for the development and progress of the SC/ST sections. Allocations were made in the state budget in the proportion to their population ratio. To revive, revitalize, and to strengthen the rural economy, my government gave the required financial stimulus to the hereditary professionals and artisans. Sheets were distributed on large scale for the Golla, Kuruma communities at 75% subsidy. Fishermen were given rights to fishing in reservoirs in the state, and my government has distributed free fish seedlings and dropped them into the reservoirs. Tax on palm trees is abolished. By purchasing cloth, uniforms, and saris from the handloom weavers, my government has created market for their products. The input cost came down for the weavers as the government is giving 50% subsidy on the yarn, chemicals and colors. My government is giving financial assistance to the Nai Brahmins and the washermen to set up modern saloons, purchase modern machines, washing machines respectively. My government had set up the most backward classes corporation for the benefit of nomads and most backward classes. My government had allotted sites in Hyderabad to several BC communities to construct their respective community homes to uphold their self-respect. For the Telangana martyrs, my government gave rupees 10 lakh ex gratia amount and one job for each family. My government is extending rupees 6 lakh financial help to the families of farmers who have committed suicide. Rupees 6 lakh ex gratia amount is being paid to the families of toddy tappers, fishermen who lost their lives due to accidents. Rupees 5 lakh compensation is being given to families of the persons who lost their lives in natural calamities such as heavy rains, floods, etc. Rupees 6 lakh to the families of the persons who died during the lightning. My government has extended rupees 2 lakh per person who were dependent on illicit liquor trade earlier and now switched to alternate employment. Nutritious meal is given to pregnant women in postnatal period and babies at Anganwadi centers under Arogya Lakshmi scheme. My government regularized up to 125 square yards of land occupied by the poor free of cost for their dwelling units. Pattas were distributed to 1.25 lakh persons under regularization scheme as per GO number 58. Rupees 5 lakh insurance scheme is being implemented by my government for drivers, home guards, working journalists, and government is paying the premium for this scheme. A special fund is created for welfare of lawyers and journalists. Brahmin Sakshema Parishad was formed for the welfare of poor Brahmins. Priests in the temples were given salaries regularly on par with the government employees under Duba Diba Naivediyam scheme. Imams and Muezzins who conduct prayers in masjids were given rupees 500 per month as allowance. What's that? Was given 5,000 per month as allowance. My government is given financial assistance to the poor youth with 100% subsidy up to 50,000 without any linkage from the banks, with 80% subsidy for the loans up to 1 lakh, with 70% subsidy for the loans up to 2 lakhs, and with 60% subsidy for the loans up to 5 lakh for providing self-employment. Power up to 101 units is given free of cost to SCs and STs. My government had waived rupees 70 crore worth power dues of STs under the domestic category. All the power-related vigilance cases registered against the tribes were withdrawn. Hairdressing saloons are supplied power under domestic category. My government is giving scholarship up to 20 lakh each to SC, ST, BC and minority students to pursue higher education abroad under the names of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. My My government hiked the salaries of home guards, Anganwadi teachers, helpers, ASHA workers, IKP, Narega employees, 108 staff, 104 staff, contract and outsourcing employees, VRAs, VAOs, contract lecturers, CRTs, and Archakas, apart from increasing the commission of ration dealers. 33% reservation provided in the police department for women.